Good morning. I'm delighted. I'm so delighted to welcome everyone here this morning, those who are in person, hundreds who are with us virtually. This is a really special day for our community. I've been excited about this day since Rabbi Fisher was in fourth year seminar at JTS. It's really a really important moment for our community when we publicly claim Rabbi Jessica Fisher as our rabbi and teacher. I want to extend a very warm welcome to Jessica's parents, Michael and Suzette Fisher, who are just about the warmest, loveliest human beings you will ever meet. We're thrilled that you could be here to witness and celebrate in the bounty of blessings that we all feel that are afforded by Jessica's leadership here at Bethel. And as we start, I want to acknowledge a tremendously important tikkun that is taking place in this moment. Jewish communities were deprived of the gifts of religious leadership of women. And women who had so much to give and so many pathways to increase holiness among our people were denied their calling to this work. And for over 100 years, this has also been true at our synagogue. And it's critical that we recognize that today we are correcting that injustice by installing the first woman on the clergy team of Bethel Synagogue Center. But I do want to say, before we get too excited and proud of ourselves, we haven't yet reached the promised land with regard to egalitarianism. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work until that is just our natural reflexive posture. And I know that we'll keep doing that work. But today, for the rest of today, is about one specific human being. It's not a moment about politics or grand dreams that we might have. It's about recognizing that through Rabbi Jessica Fisher's religious leadership, we have been given a gift. The gift of a rabbi with wisdom, vision, tenderness, humor, brilliance, really effective organizational skills, and a compassionate eye, always looking to protect those who are marginalized and bereft. Today is about recognizing this gift and resolving to treat her with the respect and admiration she deserves, to return her love to her, to express the honor that we feel, and to remember that she's human, to resist tokenizing or objectifying her, and to just care for her as our rabbi, as she so skillfully cares for us. To receive a new rabbi, to claim a rabbi as your own, that is a sacred moment. So like all the holy, sacred moments in our tradition, we'll begin today with songs of Hallel, songs of joyous praise and blessing for all of the wondrous blessings God has bestowed upon us for bringing Rabbi Jessica Fisher to our community. So I'll invite Aaron Fleischacker to start us out this morning with the sound of the shofar, heralding this really important moment in our community into our lives, and then Cantor Schwartz will lead us in Hallel, and Jack Klebanow and the house band. Do you guys have a name yet?
Yeah, we need a name.
All right, we'll be figuring out names later. We'll just call you guys Jack Klebanow and the house band. I'll ask you to rise for shofar, and if you want to follow along, and please participate and sing this morning. We're on page 134 in the Sidurim, which are in your seats.
Adonai Zacharanu Yevarech, Yevarech et Beit Yisrael, Yevarech et Beit Aharon, Yevarech Yirei Adonai, Haketanim, Hagedolim, Yosef Adonai Alechem, Alechem Me'avnechem, Me'rukim Atem Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz, Shamayim, Shamayim Adonai, Haaretz Natan Livnei Adonai, V'metim Hallelujah, Elohim Yoseinu V'aנחנו Nevarech Yah, Me'ata ve'ad olam, Me'ata ve'ad olam, Hallelujah. Yevarech et Beit Yisrael, Yevarech et Beit Aharon, Yevarech Yirei Adonai, Hakanim, Gedolim, Yosef Adonai Alechem,
In Jessica's honor, I'll map words of poetry onto the poetry of the psalmist to capture what I understand to be the poetics of Rabbi Fisher. I'll start with Mary Oliver, of course. Min hametzar karatiya anani v'merchavya. From a narrow place of distress I call out to God, and you, God, answer me. You make more space for my comfort. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks, and a silence in which another voice may speak.
Min hametzar
Karatiya
anani v'merchavya, Min hametzar karatiya
anani v'merchavya, anani, anani, anani v'merchavya, The Opening of Eyes, David White. That day I saw beneath dark clouds the passing light over the water, and I heard the voice of the world speak out. I knew then, as I had before, life is no passing memory of what has been, nor the remaining pages in a great book waiting to be read. It is the opening of eyes long closed. Pitchu li Sharei Tzedek. Open the gates of justice for me. It is the vision of far-off things seen for the silence they hold. It is Moses in the desert, fallen to his knees before the lit bush. It is the man throwing away his shoes as if to enter heaven and finding himself astonished, opened at last, fallen in love with solid ground. This image of Sharei Tzedek, the gates of justice, that we ask God to open for us as the simple opening of our own eyes, eyes that have been closed, eyes that can now open again and see the glorious world and the places in which we're called to be forces of tzedek. This fits this moment and this rabbi so perfectly. It's now an honor for me to invite Rabbi Jan Urbach, the acting dean of the Rabbinical School and Cantorial School at JTS and the founding director of the Block Kolker Center for Spiritual Arts. Wait, stay standing. We should stand until Rabbi Urbach comes to the bima. She is a cherished teacher and mentor of Rabbi Fischers and so many others.
Now you may be seated.
Mazal Tov. It's really it's such an honor and a pleasure to be here, although I have to say that the first words that come to mind when I'm here is Zillow Fair. I mean, you guys are hoarding clergy talent. And it just feels unfair to the rest of the Jewish world that you have so much talent right here. I know I don't have to tell you how extraordinarily fortunate and blessed you are to have Rabbi Jessica Fischer here as part of your remarkable team. And I will say that everything that Rabbi Shook so beautifully said and that you all know, we at JTS knew way before you did. When Jessica first came as a student, it became very clear to all of us at JTS that she was going to very quickly become a teacher and transform us and teach us at JTS as we were teaching her. And, you know, sometimes a congregation hires an assistant rabbi, and, you know, it's nice. And the congregation gets more help, and the rabbi has a job. And sometimes it's so much deeper and so holy. And it feels like a match made in heaven. And everyone has a sense that they are in the midst of an extraordinary journey. And though no one can quite pinpoint exactly where it's going to go, we know it's going to go to some really remarkable places. Which is why I, in thinking about what to say today, kept thinking of that famous verse from this week's parsha, from Vayetze, when Jacob, having left home, wakes from a dream and says, "Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati," which on the one hand is totally inapt. Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, yes, Adonai is in this place, but v'anochi lo yadati, I didn't know. I think, I hope, we all know. How could we not know? God is here. Right? Of course we know. Manorah hamakom hazeh. This is a place filled with awe. Bethel Synagogue Center. Always, but especially now. And on the other hand, this verse is completely, totally apt, I think, not just because, as it happens, Jacob names the place Bethel. I mean, how could I not? Come on. But also because Yaakov is, he's what we might say at the beginning of his career. This is his first theophany, his first real encounter with God. Just as you're near the beginning of your career, Jessica. But more than that, I think the moment speaks to something that I've always so valued in you, beyond all the gorgeous things that we've already heard that we could talk about, and your prodigious talents and your brilliance and depth of knowledge and your kindness and connection to people and isn't only, or even primarily, about the newness of the path or the newness of a role. It's a life position. It's a description of a life of faith and the role of a religious leader. The ongoing, continual discovery and rediscovery of God in unexpected places, in seemingly mundane moments, in challenges and making meaning most often after the fact of the experience of not knowing. For yourself and for others. And I want to say, Jessica, that's you in spades. You are so courageous in your honest questing. And you go so deep into life's experiences, the joys and the pains, searching for the transformational potential within every moment, meaning the godly. You have skills so far beyond what a rabbi usually has at this point in a career, and you have wisdom well beyond your years. And yet you are never afraid to say, I didn't know, or I don't know. You know that a life of faith is not like this, and it's not like this. It's the ups and downs. You know that it's easy sometimes to lose sight of God's presence, to not know, at least not in an operational sense, not to feel it deeply. Life is full of those moments, maybe even the majority of them. Maybe the default of life is that. The places of vulnerability and dislocation, as Jacob was in, the times of stuckness. He was ready to move on, and the world said no. God said, no, you have to stay. Times of disappointment. You began your rabbinate in a pandemic. Experiences of loss and uncertainty. And because you are so especially gifted at being in those places, you are so especially gifted. We are made in the image of God, in being like God, never fully knowable, even to ourselves, and always a mystery. But not every person or even every rabbi is capable of living in that mystery of the self, of growing and changing and learning constantly, discovering new capabilities and new thoughts and feelings and ways of being, and you are. You are as self-aware and knowledgeable about yourself as anyone I know, and you are always, with great courage, learning and discovering who you are. And this, too, you do for others. I would be willing to bet, looking around this room and feeling how much love there is in this room, that anyone here who has had the blessing of really getting to know Rabbi Jessica Fisher, or sitting and learning deep Torah with her, if you stop to think about it, you've had that moment with her. When you learned not only Torah, but you learned something new about yourself. You take people, Jessica, to Beit El, to the God is in this place. And I realized I hadn't fully known myself. And I know myself a little better now. What a gift. It's not an easy way for anyone to live in general, and as clergy, I want to say it has its own particular challenges. It is a professional hazard of being a rabbi to become inured to the wonder and gift of serving in this way, to become insensitive to God's presence, to take it for granted, to stop looking, or feel we already know. Thank God, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank God you are surrounded by colleagues and friends who don't do that and will support you in not doing that. It's one of the reasons I really think this is a match made in heaven. And also, I think the pressures of the rabbinate can create the false sense that you always have to know, that you have to always have known. It's not true. And among the covenants being made today, I hope that everyone here will covenant to journeying along with Jessica in this life posture of discovery and wonder. And will look to her not only to share her prodigious knowledge and what she knows, but also, and at least as importantly, to nurture her in staying open to those God is in this place, and I didn't know them, know it. I didn't know me, just as she will nurture all of you in that process. May God bless you, Jessica, and the wonderful team that you've joined, and this holy congregation. May the love that's in this room now be here always. May you all name and rename this place again and again, Beit El, the house of God. And may we all always feel, as we do in this moment, Manorah hamakom hazeh. This is truly an awe-filled moment and place. En zeh ki Beit Elohim. This is none other than the house of God. V'zeh sha'ar hashamayim, and the gate to heaven. I pray that you all keep finding it together. Mazal tov.
Those were such beautiful words. Thank you so much. This is embarrassing. Like so many Other really important moments during the pandemic. Rabbi Fisher's ordination ceremony had to take place over Zoom. So today is an opportunity to reinforce the smicha that she received from JTS by creating a moment in which all of you, her community, the community Jessica serves, you can offer her your own smicha. After all, even after a rabbi has earned the title Rav, it's only in the midst of a community that is empowered to claim that rabbi as their own, to extend her that honor and that respect that she has earned through her service to the Jewish people. It's only through community that that truly happens. So today, you, the Bethel community, online, in person, you will affirm Rabbi Fisher's smicha by offering her your own. We will, in a moment, remove a Torah from the ark. We'll also bring me a tissue. That would be really appreciated if someone could do that. We'll bring the Torah down to the central bima in the midst of the community. We'll chant, Rabbi Sitkin will chant the section of the Torah in which religious authority, smicha, is passed on from Moses to Joshua and then affirmed by the entire Jewish people. Thank you. Rabbi Sitkin will chant the Hebrew, and I will translate as he reads. And so to begin this part of our morning, I invite Jessica's parents, Michael and Suzette, up to the bima to open the ark. Please rise. You may be seated.
Vayidaber Moshe el Adonai lemor.
Moses spoke to the Lord, saying,
Vayivkod Adonai el eruchot l'chol basar ish al ha'edah.
Let the Lord, source of the breath of all flesh, appoint someone over the community.
Asher yetze lifnehem, v'asher yavo lifnehem, v'asher yotziem, v'asher yiviem.
Who shall go out before them and come in before them, and who shall take them out and bring them in.
ולא תהיה עדת אדוני כצאן אשר אין להם רועה.
so that the Lord's community may not be like sheep that have no shepherd.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה, קח לך את ישוע בן נון, איש אשר רוח בו,
And the Lord answered Moses, single out Joshua, son of Nun, an inspired man,
ושמחת את ידך עליו,
and lay your hand upon him.
ועמדת אותו לפני אלעזר הכהן, לפני כל העדה.
Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and before the entire community,
וציווית אותו לעיניהם,
and commission him in their sight.
ונתת מאודך עליו, למען ישמעו כל עדת בני ישראל.
Invest him with some of your authority, so that the whole Israelite community may obey.
לפני אלעזר הכהן יעמוד ושאלו במשפט ההורים לפני אדוני.
He shall present himself to Eleazar the priest, who shall on his behalf seek the decision of the Urim before the Lord.
על פיו יצאו ועל פיו יבואו.
By such instruction they shall go out, and by such instruction they shall come in.
הוא וכל ישראל איתו וכל העדה.
He and all the Israelites, the whole community.
ויעש משה כאשר ציווה אדוני אותו.
Moses did as the Lord commanded.
ויקח את יהושע ויעמידהו לפני אלעזר הכהן ולפני כל העדה.
He took Joshua and had him stand before Eleazar the priest and before the whole community.
ויסמוך את ידיו עליו ויצווהו כאשר דיבר אדוני ביד משה.
He laid his hands upon him and commissioned him as the Lord had spoken through Moses. So we are Eleazar in this moment. I want to invite Rabbi Urbach, Rabbi Mary Brett Coplin, who's a dear friend of Rabbi Fisher's, to stand together with me to form a Beit Din. Mark and Marjorie Seidenfeld, who are representing the entire community of Bethel, will bring Rabbi Fisher's talit in which she was ordained by JTS and place it over her as an affirmation that the Bethel Synagogue Center community accepts Rabbi Jessica Fisher as not just Rav B'Yisrael, a rabbi among the Jewish people, but as our rabbi. Invite Suzette and Michael to the bima as well. Now we are going to offer Rabbi Fisher our private blessings. And I want to invite everyone in the room and on our virtual room to just think of one blessing that you want to send Rabbi Fisher's way during this moment of a Beit Din. And as she receives your mandate and our blessings, at the end we'll bring forth the Torah, we'll pass it from rabbi to rabbi, and then to Jessica, and she'll return it to the ark, and she'll have a few moments, which she will take, before the open ark for her own prayers. I'm going to invite you up to the center bima, all the way up to the top.
I am
I'm now honored to invite Harav Harona Bat Shmuel Isser Vishoshana to share some words.
I've never been to an installation before, but I feel like this is the best. I was told this is my shot to say all the things that I want to say, and I want to take full advantage. And I want to start first by just thanking the people who worked to make this happen. I feel so lucky that Dara Less and Jody Scheinfeld and Marcy Marcus and Shayna Klopet and Mark Seidenfeld and Rob Patchen came together to think about what this day could look like and figure out all of the ways to make it feel so special and loving, down to the littlest details. All the videos that came out that were amazing, beautiful surprises and things that I will really treasure forever. Thank you. And I also want to thank the team here at Bethel, the staff that is so tireless and caring and committed and passionate, and such incredible people that I get to spend so much of my time with, and who I feel so incredibly supported by. And also all of the other people who were ushering and who are going to be serving food. The team grew and grew as the morning went on, and I'm really just so grateful by the spirit of collaboration and participation and being part of making this morning possible. And I want to thank you, Rabbi Urbach, for being here today. You have been my teacher, my mentor, my ally, my champion, and I feel so blessed to have had the chance to cross paths with you. I feel so enriched by the Torah that you teach and the Torah you create and the Torah that you live and the way that you share it and your openness and who you are, and I feel really lucky to have you in my corner. When I came to JTS, I had no women mentors in my life. I have amazing relatives and friends, but no mentors, and I feel so lucky to have been gifted so many phenomenal teachers and people throughout my time at JTS, from undergrad until today. And I don't know if you remember this, but you were actually on my interview committee for rabbinical school, so thank you for admitting me. And thanks for finishing the story today, although, of course, it's not the end. I also want to thank Rabbi Shuck. Every time my parents interact with you, they say to me, "You are so lucky," as if I didn't already know. I am so lucky. I never would have imagined having the chance to not only have you as a teacher and not only have you as a mentor, but then to be a colleague, a partner, a friend. I feel so blessed every day that I get the chance to work with someone who I admire so much and who I feel so loved by and cared for and understood. Thank you for everything you did to imagine a day that would make me feel so lucky and so uncomfortable, and knowing how to help me feel uncomfortable and loved at the same time. I'm also really lucky and grateful to have family and friends and teachers who are here with us, and I'm so excited to introduce these special people in my life to this special place in my life. I never thought I would leave Cincinnati, Ohio. My parents had this dilapidated red shed in the back of their house, and I insisted that when I was too old to live in the house with them, I would just move into the shed, which is like the size of this Bima extension. It's not a pleasant place to live. And my dad would come up with all these scenarios about why I might need to leave Cincinnati, and I said, there's no way. I will be here in your backyard forever. And I definitely never would have imagined that leaving Cincinnati would actually mean moving all the way to Westchester, New York. In rabbinical school, our teachers often had different opinions about when the rabbi should speak in a given life cycle event. Before the family members, after the friends, when do you go? And some people say you should speak before so that someone else won't say the thing that you planned. So Rabbi Urbach, I'm going to share a little bit of the same Torah because I should have gone first, basically. So under fairly different circumstances from my own, Yaakov left his own childhood home in this week's Parsha, and he left Beersheba, and eventually he found a place to rest. And in this unfamiliar land, away from all the landmarks he knew, he had a dream. He dreamed of angels ascending and descending a ladder, and with his head cradled by a rock, Jacob watches them rise and fall until he is approached by God, the deity who would one day be known as Tzur Yisrael, the rock of Jacob. God makes promises to Jacob, offers him protection and a vision for the future in this moment when he is the most alone and vulnerable. When Jacob wakes, he cries, Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, ve'anochi lo yadati, ma nora hamakom hazeh. Surely God is in this place, and I did not know it. How awesome is this place? With his newly opened eyes to divinity and the mystery of the world, Jacob marvels in his heavenly encounter and renames the place where he encountered God Beit El, Beth El, the dwelling place of God. The first time that I came to this Beth El, here in New Rochelle, I was not looking for a place to sleep. I was here for a program that was part of Journey. I couldn't believe the energy and engagement of the people who showed up on a weeknight to better understand the context of this community and how it might grow. I thought, Ma nora hamakom hazeh. How awesome is this place? A community deeply invested in its past and thoughtfully looking to its future. I came back to Beth El about a year later for Shabbat Shira with visiting artist Josh Warshawski, whose song we sang earlier. And as it turned out, Cantor Schwartz was also here for that weekend for her first Shabbat visiting Beth El, which I think made it a pretty auspicious weekend. I was so moved that Shabbat by the way the whole building felt animated and alive because of the song that we were bringing into it. And I thought, Ma nora hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place? A community that has woven singing and music into its spiritual life. A few months later, when I began coming to Beth El pretty frequently as one of the rabbinic fellows, I was so blessed with so many more of these moments of awe. As I walked from table to table filled with parents and kids engaging in conversations about their family stories and value, as I came to understand the passion and commitment of the staff, as I entered rooms filled with the buzz of Torah learning during the open Beit Midrash, Ma nora hamakom hazeh. And then came COVID. In the midst of chaos and fear, I witnessed connection at Beth El. People calling one another to check in, dropping off groceries for people in quarantine, pivoting to virtual classes and programs and ways of being together, showing up to make a minyan, finding creative and moving ways to celebrate and to mourn. Ma nora hamakom hazeh. Looking at this room today, which is so full of people and life, and knowing that so many are also participating on the live stream from home or on the road or while taking care of someone else's kids or wherever it is that you happen to be in this moment, what a blessing to be part of a community that shows up to celebrate. Even as there are continued complex calculations around gathering, I'm so grateful to have more occasions for us to be together and hopefully growing numbers in the future. Ma nora hamakom hazeh. These themes, passionate commitment, spiritual music, mutual care, being present, belonging, these are the pieces of community that drew me to become a rabbi. Throughout rabbinical school and when asked to articulate my rabbinate, I kept coming back to the theme of building communities, relationships, connections. I wanted to be a rabbi so I could help create spaces for holiness. Spaces where people would come together to support and celebrate one another, to sing together and to be moved by music. Sacred encounters where people could have challenging conversations and be open to hearing hard things. A place where we can accompany one another as our journeys converge in a place like Beit El. It's such a privilege and a blessing to serve as one of the rabbis of this community. Thank you for being the angels who are accompanying me on my journey, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on yours. When Jacob woke up from dreaming of angels at Beit El, he said, Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh ve'anochi lo yadati. Surely God was in this place and I didn't know it. Here at Bethel and New Rochelle, Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. Surely there is God in this place, and I am so lucky to know it. Thank you.
Okay. Whew. Just one crybaby after the next. So we're almost finished with our ceremony, and I thought this would be a nice moment for levity. I think we're gonna pull this TV toward the center a bit. Yes. And one of the questions that, of course, we have to grapple with as new rabbis is, what is it exactly that we're supposed to do every day? And so I figured I would ask some of the wisest folks in our community what it is that a rabbi does during the day. If you can't see from where you're seated, I have a feeling this will be made available later. But you should be able to, surely you should be able to hear it. Rabbi Sitkin, the lights.
I think that during the day, rabbis practice praying, so they become ready for when they have the services.
Tell people at the synagogue how to pray through song. I think the rabbi comes to school and meets people in Shema.
What do you think
Sing choir. They pray at their house doing lots of praying.
Talia, what do you think a rabbi does?
I play.
They play?
I play songs.
They play songs. Awesome.
What does a rabbi do?
Sing, do songs to people. It writes Torah. So pray like Torah.
So what else does a rabbi do?
They blow shofar.
Anything else?
They sing songs.
Anything else?
Read the Torah. And make the Torah. a rabbi study the Torah during the day, and when they finish, go home and study and read like a prayer book. I think they go home and do things like other people do because they're still people. I think rabbis, when they go home, they relax and then go back to studying the Torah. Cook latkes. They cook latkes most of the time.
I think that a rabbi helps people grow and learn from their mistakes, and at the same time teaches Torah and studies Torah.
They watch TV.
They eat ramen noodle soup.
I think they have ice cream and cake.
I think a rabbi is very busy. You come like a doctor. You never stop studying. There's so much to learn each day. So it's not as easy as people might think.
Praise. Work.
What is work? What does that mean?
I don't know. Read the Torah. Yeah, study Torah. Or just sit on the couch.
¿Qué es lo que hace un rabbi? Lo que creo que hace un rabbi es estudiar el Torah.
He thinks a rabbi studied Torah.
Para hacer el sermón del Shabbat.
To prepare the sermon for the next chapter.
Y atender las personas que tienen alguna duda al respecto del Torah.
And the rabbi also receives people who has questions about Torah.
Porque toda la gente siempre tiene una duda.
Because always people have doubts.
Okay, so what do you guys think a rabbi does all day?
I don't know. What do you think? I think honestly they come in here all the time
And they love to drink coffee.
and all they do is drink coffee and stand around all the time.
That's what I think they do.
Yep.
Hi, Jessica. I guess there's now some consensus about what it is that we do all day, and which you've probably discovered by now. We surely sing a lot, and we read Torah, and we write Torah, and we eat a lot of cake, and we eat ice cream, and we make latkes and blow shofar. And did I mention that we do a lot of singing? We play, and of course, we drink a lot of Starbucks. So now that we know what it is we do all day, I just want to say how thrilled we are, that whatever it is that we rabbis do, that you are doing it with us. Mazel tov. I want to invite Rob Patchen, who is the president of the synagogue, to offer some words and a gift.
I wrote good morning, but it's actually afternoon now. I think it's always very difficult to follow cute kids on a video, so, but I didn't make the schedule. And also, Rabbi Fisher mentioned that it's always hard to go last, but I actually am last, so I'll probably repeat some of the things that were said earlier, but they all come from the heart. On behalf of the officers and the Board of Trustees, thank you for attending this wonderful installation ceremony for Rabbi Jessica Fisher. This ceremony is long overdue, as Rabbi Fisher's term as assistant rabbi began nearly 1.5 years ago. In fact, as Rabbi Shuck alluded to, it is over 100 years overdue, as she is the first rabbi in Bethel's long history who is not a male. Let's all recognize that this is truly a milestone occasion at Bethel, for which we are all very grateful and proud. There are way too many people who volunteered to make this event happen to name them all, but I would like to specifically thank the members of the installation committee: Marcy Marcus, Shana Klopot, Dara Less, Jody Scheinfeld, and Mark Seidenfeld. And of course, members of Bethel's professional staff, especially Morgan Long for putting together the marketing materials, Elise LaCory for helping out with the catering, and Marilyn Russell, Joe Esquivel, and the maintenance staff for all of the setup. Mia Mandel, our brand new Chief Operating Officer, parachuted in and really hit the ground running to help us finalize our plans. And of course, I would like to thank Rabbi Shuck for contributing his vision for today. When the committee first met, Rabbi Shuck said he wanted the installation to incorporate all of the things that are very important to Rabbi Fisher: art, music, and of course, food. This was spot on because each of these things helps define who Rabbi Fisher is as a person and as a rabbi. When I think of art, and especially the poetry that Rabbi Fisher loves, I think of finding beauty in otherwise pedestrian things, and of turning the ordinary into something deeply laden with meaning. This is what Rabbi Fisher does. Anyone who has studied with Rabbi Fisher or listened to one of her sermons knows that she has a unique talent for interpreting seemingly straightforward text in a way that is surprising, opening your eyes to something beautiful that was not apparent on the surface. When I think of music, I think of something that animates the soul, that lifts the spirit. Rabbi Fisher does this too. She brings enormous enthusiasm to everything she does, whether it is leading a family or tot service, teaching a class, interacting with a child preparing for a bar bat mitzvah, literally dancing on the bima, or one of the many other things Rabbi Fisher does here at Bethel. Her neshama, her soul, simply glows when she does these things, and it is obvious, infectious, and inspiring. Finally, food. We all love food, but Rabbi Fisher is a trained chef, and a good one at that, which I know from personal experience. A good chef is precise, well-prepared, and well-organized. These skills are also necessary for a modern rabbi, whose responsibilities extend far beyond officiating at services, providing pastoral care to congregants, and teaching. Rabbis today supervise staff, administer departments in the synagogue, and carry out countless other tasks that I assume they didn't learn in rabbinical school. Rabbi Fisher does these things at a level far beyond her years of experience. She has considerable organizational skills, an eye for detail, a tremendous work ethic, a great sense of humor, and a lot of savvy. A good chef also has the ability to improvise in the event of a missing ingredient or an unexpected guest. Rabbi Fisher's rabbinate began at a time where all we could do was improvise, and her assistance in not only helping to move our operations online overnight when the pandemic hit, but to provide incredible comfort and pastoral care to a congregation desperately in need of it was invaluable. All of these talents that Rabbi Fisher possesses do not go unnoticed, are much appreciated, and will carry Rabbi Fisher incredibly far in her career. We at Bethel are so fortunate to have her. Rabbi Fisher, Mazel Tov, and Kol HaKavod. Now, I would like to present a gift to Rabbi Fisher on behalf of the entire Bethel congregation. I'm going to let you hold it because it's very, very heavy. Although you don't need the help, I hope this will facilitate the creation of even more delicious meals in your kitchen, Rabbi Fisher. Again, Mazel Tov. Great. Picture.
I just, as we prepare to head out to food, I want to also thank Brian Bosworth and Alan Kellman and David Schechter, who spent a lot of time dealing with the tech pieces of this morning. I also want to acknowledge many of the rabbis who are here today and have been here at different points today: Rabbi Barry Dov Katz, Rabbi Ethan Linden, Rabbi Cornelia Dalton, Rabbi Jan Urbach, Rabbi Mary Brett Kaplan, and Dr. Marjorie Lehman, who's a Talmud professor at JTS. And with Jessica's permission, I also wanted to just take an opportunity to welcome Mia Mandel, who is our new COO. I don't know, is Mia in the room in this moment? I think she may be out in the tent getting everything ready out there, but I hope that you'll take this opportunity to introduce yourself to her and to welcome her to our community. If you didn't have the chance to make a blessing for our communal art installation, you can continue to do so in the Sukkah garden. So hopefully we'll add your blessing to this community, and lunch will be served in the tent. You can make your way out this way, not through the Sukkah garden, but out this way and then around. People will be there to direct you. Mazel tov to our community, mazel tov to Jessica, and enjoy the afternoon. Ay, 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 da, dun, da, dun, dun, da. Ay, 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 da, dun, dun, da. Ay, 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 da, dun. Ay, 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 da, dun, dun, da. Ay, 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 da, dum, bum, ba, ay, 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 and ay, da, 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 ay, 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 oh, ay, da, dum, bum, ba, ay, oh, and ba, da, dum, ay, 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 ay.